everyone. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about coping mechanisms that have to do with control, controlling the energy field, whether someone's trying to control you or you're trying to use your energy to control someone else. Hi, my name is Nancy Rebecca, and my website is intuitivemind.org. I am a psychic clairvoyant healer, teacher of intuitive psychic development for 25 years. And today I'm going to be addressing top 10 coping control issues and how it appears in the energy field. So in September, I talked about the frequency forecast about the cotton plant, was the Symbology. If you've not seen that video, I encourage you to go take a look at it, where the cotton plant has this kind of hard, resilient outer shell, has this really strong, resilient stem. As it starts to kind of dry up, this kind of pod has these sharp points that start to separate, getting to that really soft, cotton, resilient, long-lasting fibers of strength that's coming up from the inside. So this was Spirit's way of saying, we're letting go of some old, hard, pointed, sharp patterns so that we can get to that inner strength of our own light that is weaved, those kind of golden fibers that are weaved throughout us to help us to become kind of spiritually resilient and spiritually strong. So we're going to be talking about different coping mechanisms today because that's really on the surface. We're seeing it a lot, that people are really under a lot of stressors, that it's a dog-eat-dog world out there right now. And as the vibration and the frequency of the planet goes up, those old coping mechanisms that used to work for us in the past, oh my, are they certainly coming to the surface and so glaringly in our face that it's hard to deal with. And so really in this video, I'm going to be talking about just how vital and important it is to just be able to just let go, be able to recognize that you may have some controlling patterns of your own, and being intentional, asking your spirit to help you to let go of those old patterns so that you can really rise into these higher dimensions with those strong golden fibers of strength. Okay. So I'm going to be taking a look at my notes. I've made a lot of them and I'm going to try to fit them into a short period of time. But so what I'm talking about is we are going through an expanded state of consciousness, right? Most of us really, even if you're not aware of an expanded state of consciousness, we know that something's happening on the earth, something's happening in our global society. We may not be able to pinpoint it, but there are changes that are happening. So yes, we are kind of living in this third dimensional realm where the coping mechanism of control issues resides, and we're moving to a more kind of spiritually dominant state where those control issues can no longer function. So that's why Spirit wanted me to talk about it, to kind of help open your eyes a little bit more about what a control issue might look like in the energy field so that you can begin to work with it. I kind of describe it as we're kind of laying in bed all nice and cozy and warm in bed, and someone's pulling the blanket off of us and we're trying to grab hold of it and just tightly curl up in a ball with our little blankie to stay in our comfort zone. But as your spirit is beginning to rise in that kind of fifth dimension and higher realm, those blankets are coming off. And so, yeah, we're kind of going into this battle between the body and the spirit. So having control issues can look very different for each person. For some of you, it's going to be really glaring and strong. You can see it in other people, not always so easily in yourself. For others, they can be quite masters at control issues. It can be quite subtle. We don't even know that it's happening until we're really pushed out of our comfort zone, and then we can kind of lose it. So it is a way, a control issue in the energy field is where you're trying to manage your life so that you feel safe and you feel secure. But that can spill over to you trying to control those that you love, trying to control their energy field as well. Because if you feel like they're safe, then you're going to feel safe. So the bottom line is it's all about coping. It's a survival mechanism. You're wanting to feel safe. You're wanting everyone else to feel safe. But it can look kind of messy and it can look kind of ugly when you can be over controlling, and it stops other people from being able to grow as well. These energetic control patterns are responses to painful experiences that you had in the past. And so you have this strong desire to not repeat that painful experience. So then your energy field can shift into this kind of overdrive of control. As a clairvoyant, I am addressing what I see in the human energy field that are responses to the third dimensional realm. So I've done a lot of readings of human energy fields, and the way that I work as a psychic healer is to look for the patterns that can interfere and block you from really being that full, true, authentic self that is you, that can be expressive and fun and loving and exciting and love change and those sorts of things. So when you come to see me and you're being really intentional about where you want to be, your spirit's going to illuminate what blocks you from getting there. And so often it will be some level of defense mechanism, control mechanism. And so I'm used to kind of looking at a variety of these types of coping skills to help you to dismantle them so you can really step forward in your life in the way that you choose to. This is also, I talked about other types of coping mechanisms in another video, and I was saying that kind of fight, flight, freeze, and that all of those are indicators, A, that the spirit leaves the body, and this coping mechanism has taken over to function in the third dimensional realm. Control coping is the same way. The spirit is floating above your body, and this control mechanism has kind of moved into place and has kind of taken over your behaviors. And so without the elixir of your soul to help kind of calm and comfort you, those control mechanisms can get pretty out of control. Now, a prime example of a control mechanism that's kind of run amok, like it's like this runaway train that nobody can grab the braking system. So we see kind of a lot of these videos that can be posted on Facebook or YouTube, or we'll see them in the news where people will talk about they've kind of coined the term Karen. You know, a Karen is someone who wants to try to control everybody else. But what I see as a clairvoyant is a person, and if they're being called a Karen, then they're usually a female, but it's just that they're stressed. Everything's out of control, and everything is out of control in the world right now, meaning that it's shaking up. Every day that we wake up, it seems like we're being thrown a curveball of how to cope with some new things. And so what happens for this individual is they've been pushed beyond the breaking point. And unfortunately, that breaking point might happen in a shopping mall or a grocery store or at a gas station or walking the dog. And then it's a total mess, and it gets caught on camera, and they're embarrassed or they lose their jobs. And so this is what it looks like. And this is what it can look like for you when those stressors get really high. That coping mechanism will take over. And usually the person is super embarrassed afterwards. They're like, wow, I am so embarrassed at my behavior. But it had control of them. They didn't have control of it. So having your spirit be in the driver's seat and cultivating that is going to really help you and help you to start dismantling some of these coping mechanisms. And I talk about how irrational these coping mechanisms are. Like in this story where I'm talking about the person that's called Karen, they are very irrational in their behavior. These coping control mechanisms are out of control. It is not rational. They make no sense. And this can happen to you as well. So I just have to say that I had written this. I hadn't made the video yet, but I had written the material for the video. And before making this video, I decided to take my dogs for a walk. So walking the dogs, haven't gotten too far from my house, and my older dog goes to relieve her bladder, and then we keep walking. But there's this car that was kind of following along on the road, this kind of navy blue Prius, kind of following along, and kind of moved a little bit ahead and then stopped right in the middle of the road. So when Yvonne and I kind of caught up with this person, they had the window rolled down, and it was this man, and he starts yelling at us out the window because, "Are you going to pick that up?" And we said, "What?" And he goes, "Are you going to pick that up back there?" And we said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Your dog just left their business back there and you didn't pick it up. Are you going to pick it up?" And we were like, "No, she didn't do that. She just relieved her bladder." But he was so upset. And he was like, I'm surprised he didn't get out of his car to go point and try to find it. But here is this man who's going out to probably run errands, go to the grocery store, but he literally has to kind of track us walking down the street, watching our dogs, trying to control us, trying to manage the dog. That's a prime example of what's happening in the world right now. He was being irrational. There was no way that he was in his right mind, or he never would have done something like that. So yeah, we let it rattle us for a few moments, but it was not lost on me that I had just written this material about control issues. And so Spirit was it was energetically in my aura. So Spirit was really kind of showing me how I can draw. If I don't let go of my own control issues, I'm going to draw those control issues and others to me. So let me talk about the top 10 that I identified. And so just kind of listen and try to get a sense if maybe you recognize any of these in yourself or in others around you. Now, I want to remind you, a coping mechanism of control issues is a survival mechanism. You are desperately wanting to survive. You're wanting to feel safe. You're wanting to feel in your comfort zone. So it's needed, but in these new vibrations and frequencies, you can't take it with you. So number one, expanding your aura to encompass everyone around you. Once you have someone in your energy field, you can influence how they feel and react as you move their energy with your energy. You can have someone who literally can expand their aura at work and encompass everybody in your workplace. And we know people like this, where when they come to work, you know it's going to be an exhausting day because their whole aura is completely enveloping your aura. So that person is trying to control the environment, not because they dislike you and they hate you and they want to be the boss of you. It's because they don't feel safe. Number two, pulling the rug out from underneath another person, the energetic rug. Energy control is an ungrounded state. If you're super, super grounded around someone who is feeling out of control, energetically, it's like their energy field can move underground and put blocks in your own grounding. And you'll go, wow, how come I feel so ungrounded when I'm around this person? Well, it's because, and they don't know that they're doing these. All these things are unconscious, but they will either do or say things and even energetically put blocks in your own grounding to get you ungrounded. You're much easier to control if you are in an ungrounded state. All right, another control way energetically is emotionally volatile and unpredictable. You've heard the term walking on eggshells around someone else. So if they don't manage their energy, or if they are feeling out of control, so like a woman or a man in a grocery store starts screaming and yelling at everybody around, everybody's going to kind of fall in line. We're wanting that person to calm down, right? And so if you're living with someone like that, you know not to trigger them. You know to behave in just the ways that they need you to behave so that you don't trigger an emotional volatile response. So that's another control issue. Withdrawing love is a way to control. Energetically, this person will pull their aura in, they'll pull their essence in, completely pulling it out of your field, out of the home, completely pulling it in, going kind of in this shutdown mode as a way to control you. So if you want their attention again, if you hunger for their love, if you need their love, you're going to step in line and you're going to behave in the ways that's going to get their attention again. It's like, I call it kind of a neglectful type aura, so that you fall in line, so that you behave well, so love is available to you. So we call this what? Conditional loving. Resistance, and here's another one, number 5. Resistance as a way to control. We can kind of call this oppositional defiance. So you can look that up. That's a psychological term. But energetically, the resistant person will lock down their aura. I mean, it's like you can knock on it and it's like a metal tank. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. This person will lock down the aura so that no one can get into their aura. Even if you want to say they're beautiful, even if you want to say you like their outfit, they're going to think you're trying to control them. So they go in this total lockdown mode. We all know people who really go into that strong resistance pattern. It is a way, again, to try to control you, because it may be real that you're trying to control them, or it just might be their perception. But it's usually triggered, again, from childhood, where they may have grown up in an overly controlled environment. And so, damn it, they're not going to let anybody control them from here on out. Number 6, energetic control can appear when a group is having a conversation and the controlling individual is constantly changing the subject and introducing new topics as a way to get the conversation to move in another direction. So why does this happen? Because when a group is focused on one topic, they've got this vision, this focus, well-grounded. There might even be a lot of creativity that's happening in the conversation. The vibration's really going up. The grounding's getting deeper. They're dropping into these deep, meaningful conversations. Again, to the person who needs to be in control, they can only control if the group is in an ungrounded state. So if they're constantly introducing, and I've witnessed this where the subject can be changed 5 times in 10 minutes. So they're trying to keep the group in an ungrounded state so they can better manage and control the energy. Redirecting the direction of another person can be another energetic control, such as giving advice, telling someone they should not do something, they should do something. Oh, I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. This is a way to help unground the other person by triggering their doubts, triggering their second guessing of their decision, triggering their insecurities. And so keeping you in a state of constantly needing to change your mind keeps you in an ungrounded state, easier to control. Phew. Okay, borderline personalities. These people are masters at control. And someone with a borderline personality, so remember in all of these, I say that most of these are unconscious states of controlling. They are survival coping mechanisms. Often the individual does not know that they're energetically controlling everyone around them. But the person with borderline personality, they totally know what they're doing. They get this little grin on their face. They get this little gleefulness in their eye. They know they are manipulating and controlling the situation around them. It's like, to them, it's like a chess game, and they get to move all the pieces in the room. Now, some people with borderline personality, they need to kind of focus on one person they can only control and manage. But you can have others that are quite masters that can manage and control a room full of people, 100 people. There are some people in the world that are like dictators, for example, that are masters at that borderline personality of controlling millions upon millions of people at the same time. Those are total masters. What did I say? They will change the game as soon as you get settled or as soon as you think you figured it out. So the thing with someone with borderline personality, don't spend much time trying to figure them out. You're not ever going to be able to figure them out because they change the game as soon as you think you've got it. Okay. What was the other one? Oh, narcissistic energy control. Control issues of a narcissist. So a narcissist is similar to borderline personalities in that everything is about them. So it's similar in that way. But narcissist behaviors will disrupt the energy when the focus is off of them. So they want everybody to focus on them, causing others to turn towards them again so your light can feed their light. We've heard the term of kind of energy vampires. But the narcissist has learned this from a childhood age. Usually strong control issues in the family, very dominant authorities in the family, and so always having someone focused on them. So they don't even know how to behave when the focus is off of them. And so then they will have disruptive behaviors to try to get you to focus on them again. The difference between borderline personality energetically and the narcissist personality is that the borderline personality gets gleeful, is purposeful, is very sharp-minded, is doing it on purpose. The narcissist doesn't necessarily know that that they're doing it on purpose. They may not necessarily know that they're doing it at all. Narcissistic behavior, any of control mechanisms do require, narcissistic behaviors require pretty strong, probably therapy, seeing a good therapist to help them go back to some of those childhood patterns to start dismantling that need to have constant energy being fed to them through attention. And then number 10 is energy cords as a way to control. So as a psychic clairvoyant, when I look at someone who uses energy cords, they can kind of look like Medusa, Medusa who would have all the snakes coming out of the head, or they can look like an octopus and the octopus arms and legs are going every which way. And literally I can see them come into the room and it's just cords are flying everywhere. And it's like they'll move a cord in the back of your heart chakra, the back of your sixth, they'll turn around and slip one into the front. So their cords are going in and out of the chakras pretty rapidly, trying to kind of keep you ungrounded, off guard, off kilter. I call it off your heel, on your heels, not flat-footed, as a way to be able to manage you and manage the energy in the room. Now, I hope that you can hear what I'm saying. I'm not talking about this from this perspective of you being the victim, because from a spiritual perspective, we enter into these controlling relationships so that you can learn lessons. So you're not a victim in this, you're learning the lessons. However, I also want you to be able to recognize some of your own potential controlling behaviors, whether large or small. Me personally, I know that out of this list of 10, I have probably dismantled about 5 of those controlling mechanisms. I used to kind of tease and say that my name was Nancy, advisor of all activities, Rebecca, because I am, I am psychic. I can see the bigger picture. I can see sometimes how things are supposed to unfold. And so then I'll try to kind of exert my opinion about how I think things should happen. But I've used these 25 years in meditation and grounding to dismantle the coping mechanisms because I wanted to be able to expand and feel more of my soul and my body. All right, so we're about ready to get wrapped up here, but I also want to share with you some of the tips that can help. So again, most energy control behaviors are completely unconscious by the person who is implementing them. But as the earth vibration frequency is rising and we have access to those higher frequencies outside the body and our higher soul, our intuitive abilities, those kind of hard, resilient coping mechanisms that are unbending and unmoving and controlling, they're not going to survive in where we're going. So it's getting shaken up. The sooner you can learn how to release these patterns, the better you're going to be able to feel. But again, you can't let go of the pattern unless you have a healthy capacity to cope. And developing a healthy capacity to cope might require picking up the phone and finding a therapist, picking up the phone and calling the therapist you already have, going and getting energy healing, and even more so, meditating on a daily basis so you can start dissolving those stuck control patterns. What are the things that you can do to help start to shift this for yourself? Grounding is the number one key. So the more energetically grounded you are, and on my website under, what is it, under shopping or something. Anyway, I have free meditations. So I have some guided meditations to help teach you, guide you how to ground. The more grounded you are, the harder you are to control. All right? The more grounded you are, the more difficult it is for someone around you to control you. However, they will start to kind of implement trying to derail you, get you distracted, unground you so you're easier to control. So your number one job is to stay grounded no matter what someone's behavior is doing. Number two about grounding, the more grounded you are, the less you are implementing your control issues. Because remember, your spirit's in your body, your spirit's in the driver's seat of your life. You're not going to need those controlling coping mechanisms when you are well grounded. So grounding helps in both situations. Okay, I've already talked about these patterns can be dismantled by a healer as well. So recognizing the pattern is the first key to being able to change it. When you can admit that you hold controlling energetic patterns in your own energy field, that's when your spirit can help illuminate it so you can begin to dismantle it. Please don't judge or criticize your control issues. Energetically, when you are in judgment of being a controlling person, if you're critical of your own controlling ways, you build this kind of judgment control wall all around the control issue. It makes it harder for you to get to it. It makes it harder for you to let go of it. It makes it harder for you to dismantle it. So when you can kind of accept it as, thank you so much. I have a lot of gratitude for you, control issue, because you helped me have control in life when I was younger, when maybe things felt so out of control during those formative years. So again, how you energetically approach it with grace, forgiveness, and gratitude helps soften the control issues, making them easier to release. Now, the last tip that I want to share with you is working with rainbow cosmic energy. So cosmic energy, you can just close your eyes and imagine a colorful ball of cosmic color infusing your aura. So let's say that you are around someone whose control mechanisms, control patterns are at peak performance, and they are just totally out of control. You want to like make your aura blue, brown, green, orange, pink, yellow, purple, orange, red, brown, blue. You want to shift the colors, because if you're rapidly shifting the colors in your aura, someone else's energy cannot get in your field. Now, for some, don't be surprised if you're changing the system by running a bunch of colors through your aura. They might look really confused. They might accelerate more in their out of control behaviors, because in the past they've been able to control you to feel calmer, and if they can't control you anymore, they can't feel calm. So they might, their control issues might exacerbate. However, if you want to dissolve and soften some of your own control mechanisms, create a large ball of this kind of rainbow, sparkly cosmic energy, and let it just soak and saturate your own aura with the intention that it's going to soften, start to dissolve, dismantle any old, outdated coping mechanisms. So I just want to share with you again, the vibrational frequency on the earth is juicy, it's ripe, it's readying us to let go of these hard to budge coping mechanisms that served us so well in the past, that don't serve us so well in the new frequencies. So pace yourself. Let go of them when you recognize them. Stop, be a little forgiving of yourself. Increase your grounding, practice your grounding, so when your control issues are rising up that kind of head of control, that you can ground and your own soul can rise above it and help to manage it. So we are learning a lot this month. My next week's video is going to be isolation as a coping mechanism, which, wow, our world with the global pandemic has really got that one in our face as well. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can see the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner of this video. You just click on that, click the like button, and click the little bell so you get notified when the next videos come out. And you can visit my website to see all the events that I have going on a regular basis to help support our communities, helping you continue to shift your energies so that you can more easily, with comfort, adapt to the changes that we're all going through, because after all, we are always stronger together than we are apart. All right, thank you everyone for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again next week.